but they'll be here on record as part of the file.
We actually are not voting tonight. We have not received the letter from the Suffolk County Planning Commission. No comments yet. The LWRP coordinator has not submitted to the board yet. There has been no secret adoption by this town board. At the end of this hearing tonight, we will close the hearing and, well, we'll keep it open for limited purposes. And that would be to, again, accept secret, written comments that anybody wants to submit, the LWP coordinator's comments, and of course the Suffolk County Planning Commission's comments. Now, what I'd like to do is ask anybody that would like to comment to please come forward, and also for the record, please state names fully and clearly so the minutes are captured as accurately as possible.
Also, there are a few seats up front. If you want to sit up front, there are a few available if you want to sit in the front.
I have Freddie first. Okay.
Just one thing, one member of the public just asked if the speakers in the audience spoke directly into the microphone so they could be heard on the TV as well. Thank you.
How does this sound? Is this okay?
It's good.
Okay. I'd like to put this into a little historical perspective. I've been around for a while, as you know. And what I want to emphasize is the long-term commitment on the part of Orient and on the part of the town to preserve farmland and open space in Orient. And it really goes back about 30 years, because about then there were two applications that were before the planning board that galvanized the whole community. One was to build a convention center and 100 condos at Orient Point. This was before the planning board. It was going through the process. The other was to build a 55-house pseudo-colonial village on Halleck Farm. And Orient suddenly realized that it would change, the Orient community suddenly realized that Orient would have been changed forever. The only thing that defeated these two applications, which were going all the way through, was the lack of adequate water. The lack of adequate water defeated these two. And the town, as well as the Orient community, after that made a big commitment to the preservation of open space and farmland in Orient, because it was realized that it was really the most important resource that we had. And the Orient community has constantly reiterated that. I would just like to read from a 1994 Hamlet study that was sponsored by the town. And in talking about the response of the Orient community, the Orient Hamlet, the report reads, "Their desire to preserve existing open space, vistas, natural resources, historic sites, and the visual character of Orient rendered it impossible to consider increased density or new growth in the tiny hamlet." Now, the town also showed its commitment to preserving open space. For one thing, 2-acre zoning and 5-acre zoning was introduced at that time, and it was really essentially to preserve the aquifer that was done. But the town, in its zoning code, supports the preservation of farmland with very strong language. The statement of purpose in agricultural conservation and low-density residential zoning says, "To the extent possible, prevent the unnecessary loss of those currently open lands within the town containing large and contiguous areas of prime agricultural soils, which are the basis for a significant portion of the town's economy." Now, just last month, the controller of the state, Di Napoli, published a document called The Economic Benefits of Open Space Preservation. And he reiterates in this the point that open space provides much more revenue to the towns, but keeps individual taxes down. But it's it's a huge document that he put out to this very purpose, the importance of preserving open space. Now, how does this relate to this issue? In the town's LWRP, it is stated that in Reach 5, Orient and East Marion, of the nearly 593 acres of land still being farmed, this is as of the publication of that document, 43% are now protected from development. And that's good, and it's largely because of what the town has done in purchasing development rights and agricultural easements. But it does leave 57% of those acres unprotected. And most of these acres are in Orient, and most of them abut the main road, which is the proposed route of the water main. We believe that until these acres are secured by a tightening of the zoning code, The only thing standing in the way of development of this significant acreage remains the lack of public access, water. The zoning in place has been fine as long as we don't have public water, but it will be under incredible pressure if public water comes in. So we believe that the extension of SCWA water into Orient at this time constitutes a direct threat to what the town and the community have agreed for years is our most vital resource. The LWRP states unequivocally, in the eastern portion of the reach, Orient, the potential for